If you are over 60 and you have been failing to hit 10,000 steps a day, I have good news. That number is wrong for you, and it was never a medical recommendation in the first place. It came from a 1964 marketing slogan, which I will show you in a second. The newest and largest research points to a much lower number, one that is far easier to reach, and for people your age the target is lower still. Stay with me, because I will give you the exact number, the proof, and a simple plan to actually get there. And this is not just about living longer. In the newest analysis, hitting that target was tied to far less heart disease, less cancer death, less type 2 diabetes, less dementia, fewer depressive symptoms, and fewer falls. One habit, all of that. And here is the part almost nobody tells people over 60. Your target is even lower than everyone else's. Let me prove all of it. First, the myth. The 10,000-step goal is not medical. It traces back to 1964, when a Japanese company began selling a pedometer called the Buffey. That name literally translates to 10,000-step meter. It was a catchy slogan, launched around the Tokyo Olympics, and it stuck for 60 years. There was no study behind it. So if you have ever felt like a failure for stopping at 6 or 7,000, you were chasing an advertising number. Here's the real one. In 2025, researchers pooled 57 studies from more than 10 countries, published in the Lancet Public Health. Compared with a mostly sedentary 2,000 steps a day, people who walked about 7,000 steps a day had a 47% lower risk of dying from any cause. Nearly half. And notice, this is 7,000, not 10. For most people, those last 3,000 steps added very little. The finish line is a lot closer than you were told. Look at everything that moved with that one habit. A 47% lower risk of death, 25% less heart disease, less cancer death, less type 2 diabetes, lower dementia risk, fewer depressive symptoms, and fewer falls, which for anyone over 60 is huge on its own. There is no pill that does all of this at once. There is just walking. Now, the senior advantage. Here is what makes this even easier if you are older. A separate analysis in the same journal looked at step counts by age. For adults under 60, the benefit kept climbing up toward 8 to 10,000 steps. But for adults 60 and older, the benefit leveled off much sooner. Past a certain point, more steps stopped adding much. Watch where that line flattens. For older adults, the risk of early death leveled off at around 6 to 8,000 steps a day. In plain terms, once you are in that zone, you have captured almost all of the benefit. Pushing to 10,000 did not add much for people over 60. So your real, science-backed target is roughly 7,000 steps. And honestly, anything above about 6,000 is already doing most of the work. That is a very different, and much kinder, goal. And this is the most hopeful finding of all. The curve is steepest at the start. The biggest single drop in risk comes from going from around 2,000 steps to about 4,000. In other words, if you are barely moving now, the first couple thousand extra steps buy you more health than any steps after that. You do not need to be an athlete. You just need to get off the couch and add a little. So how do you actually get there? Here's the simple plan. You do not need a gym or a plan that runs your life. Step 1, find your baseline for a few days, then just add 1,000 steps and build slowly from there. Step 2, take a short walk after each meal, even 5 minutes. Step 3, when you can, walk briskly, at a pace where you can still talk but not quite sing, because a faster pace adds even more benefit. And step 4, stack walking onto things you already do. Park farther away. Walk during phone calls. Take a loop after dinner. Small pieces add up to 7,000 faster than you would think. One tip deserves its own moment. A short walk right after you eat is one of the most effective things you can do, and it takes almost no time. In a 2022 review, walking for as little as 2 to 5 minutes after a meal meaningfully lowered the blood sugar spike that follows eating, and doing it soon after the meal worked better than waiting. So after breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a few minutes on your feet. That alone can add well over 1,000 steps a day and steady your blood sugar at the same time. So let us make it simple. Forget 10,000. Aim for about 7,000 steps. And if you are over 60, anywhere from 6 to 8,000 is the sweet spot. Remember that the first couple thousand extra steps help the most, so starting matters more than being perfect. Add a walk after your meals. Pick up the pace when you can, and let it build. This is one of the highest return habits in all of health, and it is completely free. Now, walking protects your heart and your years, but it is not enough on its own to keep you strong and independent as you age. There is one other type of exercise that does that, the one that keeps you getting out of chairs, off the floor, and up the stairs on your own, and most people over 60 skip it entirely. I broke down exactly what it is and how to start it safely in this next video. It is on your screen right now. Tap it, and I will see you there. Take care of yourself.